Welcome back to the locker room. I'm your host, Jake Homan. Here today, I have two special guests. We have Dillon Clark and Dylan Jacob, two Dillons. And Dylan, last time I had you on my show last season, there was also another Dylan on the show. So it seems like you just...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you just keep falling in the right place. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, thanks a lot for coming on the show today, guys.
Of course.
And I have two also guys who know a lot about hockey, so that's why I have you here on today. That's why what I first want to talk about is last year's hockey season. We know the Blues defeated. It was the Boston Bruins last year in the Stanley Cup Finals. What are your takes in this season? I know we're a couple weeks into the season so far, but do you have any special teams to look out for? Teams that are rising or falling, or maybe even what are the Blues' chances of repeating? I'll start with you, Dylan.
Well, I think it's tough to repeat in any league. You saw that the Capitals didn't even make it out of the first round this past season. And the Blues were able to win with a slower, heavier game, and I'm not entirely sure if they'll be able to do that again. They picked up some great pieces. They picked up Justin Falk. Their blue line's a lot stronger this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be good. They're a definite playoff team. I think they make it through a couple of rounds, but it's tough to predict if they're going to be able to repeat or not. I'd say the odds go against it.
What about you?
I would say repeat, probably not. You have to see how Binnington's going to do in his in his second season. You know, there's always the chance of a sophomore slump. So that could happen. I think they will make the playoffs again, but whether they repeat or not, I think I would put their chances against them.
And what about any teams that are like surprising you right now, or teams to look out for?
I think the Avalanche will be really good this year. They re-signed Rantanen again. They have a really good rookie on defense who's Cale Makar. I think they're going to be a really good team to look out for out of the West.
And what about you?
I think Dallas is going to be a lot of fun to watch. They picked up a lot of key pieces. They get Joe Pavelski from the Sharks. They pick up Corey Perry, who's not as prolific of a goal scorer as he once was. He's more of a bottom six role player now, but still, to have that name on your roster, it calls some attention to you. And some of the other guys they've got really, really exciting to watch. And there's been a lot of talk surrounding the Maple Leafs this offseason, the whole Marner RFA deal, trying to get those contracts signed. They named John Tavares captain the other night. This is the first time they've had a captain since they traded Dion Phaneuf 3 or 4 years ago. So it's a lot of things are happening all at once for the Leafs. They haven't gotten out of the first round of the playoffs in a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time coming.
So, I mean, if they're going to do it, this has to be the year because, again, every year that goes by, you're getting more and more up against the cap. They're having a lot of players. They've got $30 million tied up in 3 players. So there's some pressure on the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. And I think they'll perform well under it, but they've got to get it done this year.
Yeah, and to add on to that, with the contracts, I know they still have some young guys with Kapanen who are still on their entry-level deals, and once they come back, they're going to get way more than that, especially with how much Marner is getting paid in Matthews. They're going to want a lot more, and they're not going to be able to afford it, so this is kind of like this year and maybe next year. This is the year to get it done if they can.
All right, and I'm sure I'll have you guys in this show going forward towards the postseason, but just real quick, who do you have winning it all this year?
I'm going to do the same thing as with what the San Francisco Giants do in baseball. They won every even year, so I think the Caps are going to do the same in 2020.
Okay, so they should continue it then in the future years too, huh? And what about you, Dylan?
Man, you put me on the spot early. I'm not sure. I think the West is real strong this year. I think it's going to be somebody from the West.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Avalanche are going to be tough to look out for. The Stars. I think maybe between one of those two teams, I think we can put our money on seeing one of them in the final.
All right. And our second topic today, we'll be talking about baseball. The postseason just kicked off this past week. We had 2 wild card games: Brewers Nationals. Nationals won that game 4-3, and then the Rays Athletics, they won that game. The Rays won that game 5-1. So looking at the first round matchups, or even future matchups too, if you want to add them to that, what's the most matchup you're excited for?
I'm excited to see how the Nats will fare against the Dodgers. They both have really good top 3 pitching units. There's Scherzer, Strasburg, and Corbin, and then Dodgers have Kershaw, Ryu, and Buehler. That's really good pitching. Any of them can be lights out any game. So I'm curious to see what will happen in that series.
And what about you, Dylan?
My eyes are on the Dodgers too, but I really like the Cardinals and the Braves. I mean, that game was pretty interesting.
It was awesome.
I have a feeling that it's only going to get better from here. So that's going to be a fun one to watch.
I have to agree with you on the Cardinals-Braves matchup. Those are 2 teams that kind of surged halfway through the season this year. And those are honestly, I think, 2 even teams. We look at the Dodgers-Nationals matchup. Dodgers are clearly one of the best teams in the league. I'm not saying the Nationals aren't, but they're not necessarily up to that level the Dodgers have been playing at. And I think the Cardinals-Braves, especially, I feel much better about this take with the Cardinals-Braves game 1 it was last night. St. Louis won 7-6 on a comeback in the last few innings. It should be an exciting matchup to look forward for. And what are your guys' takes on who's gonna, take the World Series trophy this year?
I mean, the Dodgers have been there the last 2 years. If the Nats can't find a way to upset them, which is obviously a very big possibility,
Yeah.
I think the Dodgers, if they make it a 3rd year in a row, it's got to be them.
Who do you think they'll match up against, though?
I would hope for the Yankees just to see, Brooklyn Dodgers, New York Yankees, all the history behind those two teams. I think it'd be a really cool World Series.
And what about you, Dillon?
I think Yankees Astros is going to be the most fun option for me. Just to see that rematch of that 2017 World Series. And
I think you meant Dodgers then.
what did I say?
You said Yankees.
Thank you. Thank you for bailing me out there. Dodgers Astros in the World Series. This would be 3 years in a row for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, 3rd time's a charm, I guess, but they want to exact revenge on the Astros, and I'd love to see that.
I have to agree with you as well. I'll have to go Dodgers Astros on this one. I didn't think the Dodgers would be where they are now because they're better than they were these past 2 seasons where they've won the pennant. And I didn't think that because they lost Yasiel Puig, they lost Matt Kemp. I believe they lost someone else too, but just because of the pieces they lost, they've played better. So clearly it was a move they knew would be, good for their team, and their owner was obviously right on that one. And Cody Bellinger, he's one of the best players in the league right now. He probably will end up taking the NL MVP, other than Yelich or possibly
maybe Rendon.
Rendon. Those are the only other contestants. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go Dodgers and the Astros, just because they picked up. They have Jarrett Cole, they have Justin Verlander, and now they have Zach Greinke. Like that's just pitching is what matters in the postseason.
It's tough to match up against that.
Yeah, I mean when you have pitchers like that and a pitching core to last your team that long in the playoffs, I don't see it being anything bad for their team, I guess. But yeah, Dodgers-Astros would be a great matchup with a couple years ago. And it was a great matchup, the first one. So
I think it's gonna be better
just to see the second one be even better. Yeah. And as always, we do our NFL picks every week. We have 3 games I have highlighted on the screen this week. We're going to do Ravens at Steelers, AFC North matchup, kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll start with you, Dillon. Who you got in this one?
I mean, that's a must-win game for the Steelers. If they let this one slip away at home, I think that's pretty much it. That being said, I don't think they can get it done. I really don't. So Ravens.
Ravens? Okay.
I think the Ravens as well. Lamar's been unreal this season, and I think he's just going to keep it going.
I have to agree with you as well. The Steelers are coming off 1 win, though, and the Ravens are also coming off a loss. So both these teams will be needing their wins. Baltimore, though, actually ranks first in rushing offense right now and yards per carry, where they have Lamar Jackson as kind of a dual threat, and then obviously Mark Ingram coming from New Orleans last season. He's still being as productive as he used to be in his early days. But yeah, I'm going to have to go the Ravens this one as well. And our second game on the slate this week, we have the Green Bay Packers facing the Dallas Cowboys. This one will be in AT&T Stadium. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Packers. I think they're going to pull off an upset. Rodgers is really good in prime time, and I think they're going to get it done.
All right. And what about you, Dillon?
It's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers, especially just he seems to elevate his game against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see that again.
I hate to agree with you on that because I, as a Cowboys fan, Aaron Rodgers is actually 3-0 in AT&T Stadium.
There you go.
I think a reporter asked him, why are you so good? Like when you play the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium. I think it's just because of the atmosphere. He loves, I don't know what it is about our field that he just does well at, but he seems to always do that. This one should be interesting though because the X factor will definitely be the Cowboys' rushing offense. We didn't see that last week in their loss against New Orleans. Zeke only had 39 rushing yards, I believe, on like 18 carries. But yeah, that will definitely be the X factor in this one. I will have to also go with the Green Bay Packers. It's tough to say. But it should be a close one. And Aaron Rodgers, like always, will probably just clutch it out at the end of the game and take that one. And finally, our last game of the week, or not last game of the week, but last game of the Monday night, we have Cleveland Browns taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers coming off a bye week, still undefeated though, 3-0. And the Browns coming off of a huge win against their AFC rival, the Baltimore Ravens. Who you got, Dillon?
This is another tough one, though. It doesn't seem like a Monday night game.
No, it doesn't.
But, I mean, the Niners are coming off the bye week, rested. It's going to be a little difficult for Baker and the Browns. I got to go with the Niners in this one.
All right, and what about you,
Yeah,
Dillon?
I think the Niners are a little bit of a sleeper team. I don't think anyone expected them to be undefeated, and I think on primetime they're going to show why they should be, and they're going to go 4-0.
I'm going to have to go the 49ers as well in this one. Fun fact, though, the 49ers actually have 5 first-round picks on their defensive line.
Wow.
So that defensive line is looking scary this year. And we saw Nick Chubb go off for like 180 yards last week against the Ravens. Excuse me. And that's because the Ravens don't have that good of a line as the 49ers do. And the 49ers, especially being healthy and coming off of a fresh week, having a whole week off to prepare for this game. Monday night, it's a home game. I mean, I don't see how it could go any other way, except for if Baker Mayfield throws lights out, who knows. But yeah, I'm going to have to go the 49ers in this one as well. All right, and that's all the time we have for today, guys. If there's anything else you'd like to share before we go, but
I don't have anything.
I'm good.
all right, no problem. Well, thanks again for having the show today, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot. And we will see you next week, Locker Room. Thank you.